Joseph and Erik bust into the room. Both of them are carrying shotguns. They shoot their father, Jose, 6 times. The mother, Mary, she is shot 10 times. After these 10 shots, though, she's still crawling for life. She cannot believe what's going on, right? I mean, everything is blurry at this point. She's just been shot 10 times, and she's crying while she's crawling. So we have a married couple. The husband, Jose Enrique Menendez, and the wife, Mary Lois Kitty Anderson. The two get married, and they have their first child on January 10th, 1968 in New York. And his name is Joseph Lyle Menendez. Shortly after, the mother, Mary, she quits her teaching job and she says, well, you're working your way up the corporate ladder. You seem to be doing well at that. I can just be a stay-at-home mother. After all, we're starting our family, and I think it will be great for at least one of us to stay home. And they uproot and move to New Jersey. Subsequently, after that move, about 2 years later, they have their second child. His name is Erik Galen Menendez, born November 27, 1970, in Gloucester Township. So they have 2 young boys. The father, Jose, is working his way up the ladder, and everything's looking pretty bright, right? They just moved to New Jersey, and everything's looking well. It's on the up and up. The family lives in Hopewell Township, and both of the brothers attend Princeton Day School, which is a pretty good school. So yeah, everyone seems to be on a good path, in other words. So let's fast forward to the summer of 1976. Now, Joseph is 8 years old, and Erik is 6 years old. This summer, their cousin, Diane, has come over to visit the family and stay. And during this visit, Joseph decides to pull Diane to the side. And he says, all right, keep this kind of on the down low, but I have to tell you something. I'm being sexually abused by my father. So Diane, she's a bit older than them. And of course, maybe she's like, I understand an 8-year-old wants me to keep this secret, but I can't keep this secret. I mean, this is devastating. To hear my cousin is being sexually abused, and he's just 8 years old. I'm sorry, I have to talk to someone. So Diane decides it's good to talk to the mother, right? Maybe it'll be a little too controversial to speak to Jose, the father, about it. Maybe it'll be a little too much. Yeah, so let me try to ease into this by speaking to Mary, the mother. And when she does that, Mary's like, no, there's no way Jose would ever do something like that. Joseph, you'll find that he's a huge liar. He lies about a lot of things. We actually get upset with him because of his lies. That's just another one of his lies. He probably wants something from us, and therefore he's telling you this.
8-year-old.
I'm telling you, he's a liar. He knows how to elaborate things and make it seem bigger than they are, and so forth. So Diane's like, okay, all right. I mean, I can't push any further than that. I don't want to stir up any trouble. I was just visiting. All right, but I hope it's not true. I hope it's true that he is a liar, and I hope that's not the case, that he's being sexually abused by his own father. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more. Let's fast forward to when they're older teenagers. Now it's 1986. Joseph is 18 years old. Erik is 16 years old. By this time, Jose, their father, he's climbed the ladder. He's obtained a very good position. He works as a corporate executive. And this influences the family to uproot from New Jersey all the way to Beverly Hills, California. So that shows you that, yes, they are on the up and up. Everything is looking better now. And around this time, Erik is attending Beverly Hills High School, and he's kind of a mediocre student, but he's really talented at tennis. And Joseph has an opportunity to attend the Princeton University. So, I mean, let's just picture this. It does seem like that the family is on a good path, despite the speculation of the father doing some funny business with the children, it does seem like, hey, this family's doing pretty good, right? I mean, their oldest child is going to an Ivy League school. Despite that, though, Joseph is actually not doing well in school. He's on academic probation for poor grades, and he's eventually suspended for plagiarism. So let's fast forward. August 20th, 1989. Jose and Mary, they're in their den in the house, in the Beverly Hills house. They're just chatting it up, possibly thinking, how do we want to design this den? I don't know, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. And next thing you know, Joseph and Erik bust into the room. Both of them are carrying shotguns. They shoot their father, Jose, 6 times, including a fatal shot in the back of the head, and they unalive him. The mother, Mary, she is shot 10 times. After these 10 shots, though, she's still crawling for life. She cannot believe what's going on, right? I mean, everything is blurry at this point. She's just been shot 10 times, and she's crying while she's crawling. Erik is shocked, right? He's a younger brother. He's shocked. He understands he's pulled the trigger too, but he's still shocked. Joseph, however, says, okay, I realize we just killed Dad. Well, Mom is crawling for her life. Give me a second. Joseph runs back to the car and reloads the gun. And he walks back in and he shoots Mother right in the face. Successfully unalives her, unfortunately. So they've just killed their parents. Joseph and Erik, they just sit in the house now. They're just sitting there. Joseph is thinking, well, I'm sure police are going to be arriving here soon. After all, Erik, we did just kill our parents, and the noise probably emitted so far right down the block, because I mean, we use shotguns. So let's just wait. Let's wait for the cops to arrive. So once the cops do arrive, and it actually takes quite a bit of time, surprisingly, but at the same time, it's a mansion. So, you know, maybe the noise couldn't travel that much. But the cops eventually do arrive. And they say, oh my goodness, we just found our parents shot to death. Joseph's like about to cry. Oh my goodness, my beloved dad, he's dead. So where were you guys at? We went to the movies to watch the Batman movie, the new Batman movie. We even went to Taste of LA Festival. We've been out, and then...
So are they the ones who called the police?
No, I wouldn't say they called the police, but I would say that the noise did travel a little bit.
So the neighbors called.
So it's like you heard something strange, but it wasn't clear enough to know that, hey, this is clearly someone being shot next door.
So the cops are just going to do a welfare check.
Yeah, exactly. I think I heard something strange. Could you at least check on this house or check, what's going on over there? So I think that's what it really was, because otherwise the cops would have probably came in with their guns drawn and ready for a possible shootout of some kind, right?
Yeah.
But no. Cops just arrived and they're like, oh my goodness, 2 boys are here, 2 teenage boys, and the parents are here, lying in a pool of blood.
And they're doing actually well, like it's not like they're struggling.
Right, what happened? But Joseph's like, we just got here. I have no clue. This is devastating.
It is.
And so the police buy it. I mean, they're like, okay, let's not even do like gunshot residue tests. I mean, we buy it, right? For the most part. I mean, these are 2 teenage boys. It's devastating to walk in on your parents being dead. I mean, maybe someone tried to rob the place while they were gone. Maybe something happened. All right. But in the months after the killings, the brothers begin to spend and spend and spend. They start buying luxury items. Joseph's like, hey, Erik, you always wanted that backpack, right? Grab it. Go get it. Matter of fact, I'm going to buy this watch. I always wanted this watch. they start businesses, they start traveling. Joseph buys Chuck's Spring Street Cafe, a buffalo wing restaurant in Princeton, New Jersey, and he buys a Rolex and a car, brand new Porsche.
Because they've inherited the money.
They've inherited the money. Eric hires a full-time tennis coach. He's like, this is awesome, man.
They're living it up.
He competes in a series of tournaments in Israel.
Ooh.
Right? This is like, they're like, this is every teenage boy's dream. We're getting everything we want. What could possibly go wrong now? And they're like, all right, to put the
cherry on top.
Let's go ahead and leave the mansion and let's go buy some condominiums. We'll live right next to each other in Marina del Rey, place in California. I guess that's like a specific community in California, it seems. So they're just living their lives, as you can see. They're living it up with the money that they just received. They're going to the Caribbean, London, they're going to New York Knicks basketball games. Actually, they end up being in a photo. Like, think of a basketball card. They are in the back, on the ground, in like the floor seats of this basketball photo. Just to show you, that's like really showing you. These boys are living the life right now.
They're spending every...
Total of their spending, guess how much it was? Guess how much?
I think that is even more than $1 million.
All right, so at this time,
Yeah.
700,000.
Oh. In
Now,
today's-
2024, about 1.7 million.
Yeah. Seems.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Isn't
Mostly
it?
in those days.
Right, isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
yeah.
Like, I feel like you have to be on a mission to want to spend that much money. Like, you know, like you can think...
I think it's like, let me spend it as much as I can. Let
Right.
me enjoy life because I don't know
Like-
when I will be caught.
And it's kind of like, you know how there's items that you really, really want? And there's items that you like, kind of want it, kind of don't. You're buying all of it.
Yeah.
Like everything in between. All like from the items you really wanted to the things you kind of wanted. Maybe you don't really want it
Even
that much.
if you use it
But
a
you're
day
like,
and then you leave it.
Exactly. You're buying everything at this point, right? So obviously the family takes notice of this. And they're like, your parents just died. What is...
Yeah.
I mean, we know that we can... Because sometimes people change after a parent's death, but this is how you guys have always aimed to be. So I'm starting to feel like you guys had something to do with that. Something's there, right? So they make this connection between the teenage boys, Eric and Joseph, and the death of their parents.
That's the family.
Yes, the family is first. They start speculating things are a bit off because of how their spending habits have
And how happy they are. They seem happy to be spending like that and
Yes.
traveling a lot. As in, you seem happy.
Yes.
You don't even seem like someone who's grieving, but in any way.
Yes. But see, the police, on the other hand, they don't really place the boys as prime suspects right now. They're like, no, there has to be something greater than this. Maybe like the mob of some kind. Maybe it was like some organized crime. Maybe
I
the
feel
father
like-
was connected to
I
someone.
feel like at that time the police were like very lenient. They were not trying to accuse all the people who are grieving or whatnot. Or
Right.
maybe it's because they were kids. I don't know, but I think like the way they usually say, if it's a husband and a wife, the wife dies, the main suspect is the husband until
That's
the
true, yeah.
And if the husband
A lot of
dies, the
times that is
wife
the
is
case.
the suspect, like the prime suspect. So
You always go to the people closest, right?
yeah. So I don't really understand why they were forgiven.
But see, even the cops, after a while, they're like, look at the boys for a second.
So the case was not closed per se.
Now,
Oh, okay.
this is like the beginning of the investigation.
They are dumb.
Yeah, so it's like, so they're like starting to look at the boys they're like, wait, I feel like this is a financial motive behind this because these boys have like been spending and spending, right? There has to be like a financial motive behind their killings or behind the deaths of the parents.
Yeah.
I feel like these boys have something to do with it, right? So they're like, all right, well, let's try to line something up so that we can prove that. So they meet up with one of Erik's friends, I should say, Craig Signorelli, and they're like, hey, arrange a date for you and Erik to hang out. We're going to place this wire on you, and you're going to ask a specific question. Don't ask it exactly like this, because maybe Erik will pick up on it, and he'll feel like something's odd about you. But kind of, poke around to it to get him to at least mention something or maybe slip and say the wrong thing, right? So Craig's like, okay, I'll do it. Because I kind of feel like I kind of feel like something's wrong too, right?
So like he was not at forced, he was just like willingly.
Craig's like, all right, I'll do it.
What a friend, I don't get.
I mean, it's a friend, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people, when someone's life is on the line or when someone has been killed, I feel like humanity, for the most part, they'll say, you know what, let me help.
Thank you. Continue. I know it.
I know you said
Yeah. It's an inside joke.
It's an inside joke.
Yes, exactly. Humanity. Yes, you'd be like, okay, it's not snitching per se.
Well, let's just keep that inside. Anyhow, so during this lunch date, Craig comes around to basically itching at this idea of whether or not Erik and Joseph have just killed their parents. Erik's like, no, that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, dude, that would never happen. And I'm kind of offended that you asked me such a question.
Yeah, very offended.
But overall, he denies it. Yeah. He's like, no, that's just not, never.
How, were they looking for, a starter, he'd be like, so scared that he was...
I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, at this time, he's a teenager.
Yeah.
So it is possible if you ask a teenager, hey, did you do this?
Then you're like...
and also, he's the younger brother. So it's not because Joseph is coming off more confident. More like, no, we're doing this, Erik. Oh, no, we're going to do it like this. Oh, you want to go over here? We'll do it. Right? Yeah. He's kind of the one that's behind it. And I think that's why they're like, no, don't try to get Joseph to... No, we need to try to get through Erik. Erik's the younger brother. We may be able to get more leads with him. Yeah. Right? But that was an unsuccessful thing, right? Yeah. That didn't work. But nonetheless, the boys are still not, I would say, psychologically settled, right? Erik is going to counseling. He's going to therapy. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he divulges in this kind of trauma with his psychologist. He's saying, well, I have to be honest with you. I've done something terrible. And to be honest, it involves me killing my parents. I helped kill my parents. And the psychologist is like, okay, Erik, I mean, wow, I heard about this, right? But no worries, you're safe to speak with me about it. It's horrible news, but you can speak to me. So the psychologist doesn't even say anything to the police. He's like, he's totally open arms with this young kid, with this teenager, because I mean that's.
It was those days you can't disclose.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to disclose it, right? Because there's possible legal
repercussions.
Yeah, legal repercussions. But at the same time, I think he feels like I want to help, right? Because he's a teenager. He's probably lost in this. He has no one to turn to, right? Because I mean, come on, who's going to relate with you after admitting such a thing? Most people do not kill their parents, right? Yeah. So talk to me. But that doesn't stop the psychologist from spilling that news to someone close to him.
Oh my goodness.
So the psychologist...
Why just not go and tell the police, surely?
So the psychologist at this moment, he's cheating on his wife.
Jeez.
And he accidentally slips and tells his mistress, hey, so you remember seeing that story about these two parents being killed? Yeah, well, one of the brothers actually told me in one of my sessions that he committed the murder, right? He's the one that killed his parents, right? He's probably saying this at the time he's putting his tie back on,
I know.
right? It's like, all right, that was
Fixing
great.
his shorts.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. I'll see you next week. Okay, take care, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, he kind of runs into some hardship with that mistress, and eventually he says, you're a bit much. And you know what? I'm married anyway. So I'm going to go and cut you off. The mistress is like, I hate you, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm so upset, I'm going to spill the beans. So she is the one that tells the police about the brothers' involvement in this.
Yeah.
So, March 8th, 1990, Joseph is arrested. Erik turns himself in 3 days later after arriving back to LA from Israel. Because Erik, there's no way he's going to stand alone.
Yeah.
He says, all right, I'm sorry, I have to go too. Just take me as well. So both are held without bail and jailed separately. August 1990 rolls around. A judge rules that the tapes of the conversations between Erik and the psychologist are admissible evidence since the psychologist states that Joseph threatened him and violated doctor-patient privilege. So it seems that Joseph also went to this psychologist, right? And there was some kind of clash between the psychologist and Joseph. The judge's ruling is appealed though. As a result, the proceedings are delayed for another 2 years until the Supreme Court of California rules in August 1992 that most of the tapes are admissible, with the exception of the tape on which Erik discusses the murders. So it's like he's like, you know, point by point, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. So after that decision, a Los Angeles County grand jury issues indictments in December 1992, charging the brothers with the murders of their parents. So now the Menendez trial is at full speed, right?
Okay.
And this is a huge national sensation. Everyone's tuning in to watch this. This is crazy, right? And the year's 1993 now. So the brothers are like, all right, we need representation. So they hire Leslie Abramson, and he says, I'm gonna fight for you guys. I'll fight for both of you boys. And he states on record that they killed both of their parents out of fear of their lives after a lifetime of abuse at the hands of their parents, especially sexual abuse at the hands of their father, who was described as a cruel perfectionist and pedophile. Can't you guys understand just a little bit why they would do such a thing? They're trying to escape a demon, someone who's touching them. Who are they going to turn to?
They turn to a
They
cousin.
tried to speak to someone, and their mother dismissed it. What are they supposed to do? And the boys go on to describe to the attorney, like, hey, make it clear on record that our mother was an enabling, selfish, mentally unstable alcoholic and drug addict, and she encouraged our father's behavior and was violent, and was also violent towards us. Place that on record. Place it on record, right? So the allegations against the couple are supported by the testimony of two family members. The brother's cousin say, as a child, Erik told him. So now think of another cousin saying Erik now, the youngest brother,
said it.
is saying that, yes, sexual abuse took place, right? And Diane, remember Diane?
Yeah.
She places it on record that, yes, Joseph also told me about his sexual abuse encounters that were going on, but Mary, their mother, dismissed it. And as physical evidence, the defense presents a photograph of Joseph and Erik's genitalia. when they were basically children. A photo that was taken by their father. But this doesn't stop the prosecution. The prosecution argues that the killings were done for financial gain. There's no doubt about it.
Financial.
You guys went on a spending spree, buying tons and tons of things
They're young.
immediately right after your parents were killed. Give me a break. There's no way. So the defense team claims that the brothers did not think they were getting any inheritance. So the attorney's like saying, no, Joseph and Erik, they had no clue they were getting any money. They were sitting here thinking their parents hated them.
Yeah.
They were thinking their parents didn't even care about them. How are you going to say they wanted this for financial gain? They didn't. They did not want to do this for financial gain. They were doing this for their own security, their own lives. Erik even testifies that a couple weeks before the night of the killings, he told his brother about the sexual abuse he was experiencing. And this led to several confrontations because Joseph's like, okay, you've done it to me, but there's no way I'm going to allow you to do that to my brother. Don't touch him like that.
Both, they didn't know that it was happening to, like, Erik didn't know Joseph was going through it, and Joseph didn't know that Erik was going through it. So when Erik finally told Joseph, and that's
it seems that Joseph's like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
They're not changing, right? We tell mom or we tell someone, nothing is changing. Erik, for you, I will plan something. Cause me, I made it to 18. I have all these messed up thoughts in my head now because I've been molested my entire life. But it's happening to you too? No. We can't. I can't stand by this. I can't. But then they also say on record, they testify that their father threatened to kill them if they did not keep the abuse secret. They claim that the last confrontation happened inside the home's den, August 20th, 1989, a few minutes before Mary and Jose, their parents, were killed. The brothers continue to argue that their father closed the den's door, which was unusual. The brothers became paranoid that night, and they were afraid because they thought, we may actually be killed by our dad. We've never seen him do such a thing. What is going to happen right now? And this is what influenced our decision to go and get the weapons, because we had no clue what he had behind that door. So this trial, I mean, it's a national sensation. It's gathering so many eyes. No one knows where exactly this is going to end up falling.
And they never told the psychiatrist that,
or the psychologist.
The psychologists about the abuse.
Well, it seems that they may have already been kind of, I would say they're talking about the psychological side. Maybe not the trigger or the influence, but maybe they're saying, I keep having these dreams about this. I keep having these thoughts about that. But maybe they're a little timid because it's not easy to talk about something like that. So maybe they're a little timid, especially coming from a same-sex parent, right? Because that's a whole different story. Mind you, that's a whole different story. That's a whole nother level of uncomfortable, awkward feeling. To speak to another man about that, mind you, Joseph told Diane, which is a woman, right? It's an older woman cousin. So that's a little easier to do. But speaking of with the man about your father touching you, that's like pulling teeth. That's tough, So I don't think so. But I mean, that is worth further research. But I would highly doubt that they just immediately came out and said, yes, we're being touched by our dad. Okay. I would doubt it. But the trial ends with 2 deadlocked juries, but immediately after that, they're retried. The second trial is not publicized. They're like, no, keep those cameras out of here. We need to keep this little key because we need to get all of that background noise out of here. Because we've seen it many times where background noise and just noise in general, how that can unravel into a huge issue, right? Unfortunately, this does not go the boys' way. July 2nd, 1996, when Joseph is 28 and Erik is 26, the judge sentences the brothers to life in prison without the possibility of parole, to be served as consecutive sentences for the killings and the charges of conspiracy to commit murder. The death penalty wasn't considered because these two boys don't have a criminal record. Neither of them committed some kind of crime. So the California Department of Corrections ultimately separate the brothers and send them to different prisons. Because at this time, they're considered maximum security inmates, so they are also segregated from other prisoners. So they're basically separated from each other,
and other people,
other prisoners, and just the world.
Might go crazy.
So let's fast forward all these years. They remain in prison, in separate prisons, I should say, until February 2018. Joseph is moved from Mule Creek State Prison to Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, where the brothers are housed in separate units. And they finally see each other again.
Oh, yeah.
And they cry.
Oh.
And that's the story of Joseph and Erik Menendez.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
So where are you at, though?
I believe the boys. I believe the boys.
Because at first you were coming off in you kind of gave me vibes that you were actually thinking they wanted to do this all for financial gain.
No, not really.
No?
It was just like, why are you spending so much? That
Okay.
was, yeah,
Okay.
But
you believed them.
I believed them the moment they said it at first to the first cousin. Like,
Right.
I believed it. There is no way a kid can just come up with something like that.
And it's remained consistent through all these years, right?
I believed them. But also, I think they overdid it.
Overdid it with the spending?
With the killing.
Oh, with the killing.
That was too much. Even if it shows
It shows how much pain was there.
It shows
right?
how much pain. But despite that, like all those shots, mostly to the mom. Like
I saw that you were really impacted
like
by that.
10, and the last one to the face. Like, I think that was too much. Maybe they could have done it differently. But also they tried.
I like it, you're like, well, maybe they could have killed their parents.
No, not killed their parents, like reported it. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Like probably they could have taken evidence, like taken photos, like taken video, like certain things, and just went to the police and tried it in that way. But also at this point, if you go through an abuse for such a long time,
I think you're ready to
you can flip at any moment.
I think you are ready to annihilate them. Like I don't even think it's like a punch in the face is enough for you. I think you're ready to.
And the worst thing is they were still young. They were still young.
Yeah.
So, and they were like, we told grown-ups didn't help us. So what makes us think that maybe if we go to the police or anything,
that they would even listen to us?
Yeah, they will listen to us. We will just be painted as
exactly.
liars.
Mind you, this is a successful family, right? It's hard because whenever someone thinks about sexual abuse, I think they get this picture in their head about like poor parents, weird-looking parents that are touching their kids, and this man is doing well, right? Their father was doing well. He's a corporate executive. They're like, dude, he probably has women throwing themselves at him at work. There's no way he's touching guys sexually. Yeah. Right? So, absolutely, I think the parents would have dismissed them as well. Absolutely.
And I also think that the thing that made the decision rush to do that is when Joseph actually had the story from Erik. I think that's the thing that it's the thing that just made
set him off.
Yeah. At that point, I think there was no turning back for him. There was no turning back at all. I still believe that maybe they could have tried to go to the police. But I think initially, probably Joseph was like, okay, when I'm 18 already, I can just move out, go do my own thing. But once he heard about the brother...
Yeah, I think he thought it was just him.
Yeah. Once he heard about the brother, that was just
which
a lot.
just shows you the impact of that, right? The fact that two brothers can't even talk about it with each other
yeah.
says the impact. And it's very sad.
It's too much.
Right?
It's so sad.
It hurts you because here you have these two brothers being molested by their own dad.
Someone who's supposed to take care of them.
Someone who's supposed to
protect them. So you're just providing financial support, a good house, good schools, but whatever happens behind the walls, it's just insane.
And you're trapped, right? Like, because it's like, yeah, you go to school, but you come home. You go to a job, but you come home. Home is supposed to be the place where you are supposed to relax and be safe, right?
And
but if you're being violated at home, where is a safe haven? There is none.
And the worst part is the mom. The mom never helped. You know, if one parent is doing it and then they hear that, okay, this parent is doing this, you need that one parent who can be like, oh, you're doing this? No, this cannot happen. Like, I will defend the kids. But it's both parents who are doing these crazy things.
Well, the mom's like super apathetic, dismissive.
Yeah.
But the dad's the one doing all the damage, right? It's terrible.
Why have kids if you're going to treat them in the worst inhumane way? Like, don't do that.
So what do you think about the sentencing, though? Do you think they should have been sentenced for a little bit, like maybe 5 years, 8 years? Or, I mean, obviously I would think you don't agree with the life sentencing since you believe it's somewhat justified, right? Or what do you think?
I think with the sentencing,
it's kind of tricky, but...
It's kind of tricky.
It is.
I have two sides.
Okay.
One side is like, okay, it's fine, honestly. One side of me is like, okay, life sentence, okay, because they went overboard.
At the end of the day, you did kill these people.
Yeah, you did kill these people. You went overboard, like 10 shots, 6 shots. Like, it's not something that you did it. It's not like you shot them once and then you felt remorse in some way. And you're
you shot them in the leg and they bled out.
And then you're like,
something.
oh my goodness, what did I just do? But it was consecutive. So I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, life sentence, cool. The other side is, I think that they could have been given maybe 40 or 50, but also get...
40 or 50 years? Isn't that life?
It's not life, they were young.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, geez, most of your life is gone. But alright, that's true.
Because, okay, they went through a psychological thing.
Right.
The problem was, no one could prove it, like, definitely. Like, there was no, like, okay... to take it to court so that they get a lesser sentence. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, for the court.
Okay.
Apart from the cousins coming to testify.
So you're saying that who couldn't prove it on which side?
Like, their lawyer could not actually say...
couldn't remove them from killing?
No. Could not prove that, oh, the dad did this or the mom was abusive in this way.
I mean,
like
they
this.
Testified with the cousins. They provided
but
an image.
But, you know, like, people could say, like, really? Like, you know how people are.
So you're saying basically out of the evidence, the stronger evidence was...
them killing
was killing for... And the thing is, you could say for blank, but the bottom line is you guys killed these parents.
You guys
killed these two adults. Like, that's just the bottom line.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. The other one is give them a couple of years, like 20, 30, 40. Give them those years, but also they just need counseling. Like they just need therapy. They need help. And it was a moment of anger, a moment of... It was just too much, but then again, I just don't know.
All right, well,
yeah.
I think it was good to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Least, you know? And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to the story.
So, sun's down. So
I mean, as you can tell.
Yeah, so it means that this curtain is closing also. So until next time, we will see you in the next video next Saturday. Bye.